So yeah, I everybody's talking about it, about what happened on the court on the football field yesterday, and I feel like I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened. I'm getting lots of questions, but I looked at the video to see what happened. Good morning, everybody. What happened yesterday on the field, I don't know Hamlin's medical history. I don't know what happened, but I saw the replay. And if you guys didn't hear about it yet, this player got tackled and he got up and then he went down. They started doing CPR. They worked on him for at least 10 minutes before they transported him to the hospital. And I don't know what's going on. Everyone's like, what do you think happened? Not sure. But I think it's a good opportunity to stress the importance of knowing CPR, because that was something that happened suddenly. And that's something where it doesn't matter what the hospitals do at this point, bystander CPR is the most important. What happens before a patient comes into the hospital is very important. Don't discredit that. Everyone should know CPR. So I know sometimes when we learn something, we have to go to a class and learn something. It's not easy because you're literally trying to pay attention and figure out and remember the steps, but it really isn't that hard. So really quickly, let's just talk about the heart and what the heart does. The heart pumps blood around the entire body. It's your central pump. Blood is important because it has all these nutrients. It has oxygen, it has fat, it has sugar, and your brain needs that. Your brain needs that in order to function. So imagine if the heart stopped. What's not getting oxygen? Your brain. And you ever saw a person pass out and then wake back up, or just briefly pass out? It might have happened to you. That's literally like a second, a brief period, a second of the brain not getting any oxygen. So imagine for longer than that, what can happen? That's when a person is out and out cold. So he probably had some sort of what we call a sudden cardiac arrest, which can happen to anybody at any age. It doesn't mean that he was unhealthy. It literally just means that his heart probably went into a rhythm that we call VTAC or VFib. And in that rhythm, it's not pumping properly. And then that leads to sudden cardiac arrest. So chest compressions, what do we need? We need the heart to pump that blood. And how do we have that happen? Patient can't do it. Somebody bystanding that sees the person pass out needs to get on the chest right away. And all you're doing is pumping the heart for them. You're pushing on the center of their chest, nice and strong, and you're pumping the heart. Because why? You want the blood to flow. Because for every minute that the blood is not flowing to the brain, that patient's mortality rate just went up by 10%. So I just wanted to say that you should know CPR. Your family should know CPR, because sudden cardiac arrest is just that. It's sudden. It's sudden. Another thing is sometimes when you're in a place like a movie theater, on a field, in a school, at a facility, there should be a device next to the fire extinguisher called the AED. The AED is this defibrillator device that can shock the heart back into a normal rhythm. Right? So get an AED. So you want to call for help. You want to start pumping on the chest. Maybe somebody is getting that AED. And literally, you can save a life. You can save a life. This is something that everyone should know. I'll try to put out some more information about it, but I feel like, we hear, get CPR certified, and you think of a class, and I don't want to sit through a class. But you know what? You don't have to. Just understand the principle and the basics. The basics are someone's heart just stopped, pump it for them until you can get help. Because yes, the ambulance can come, and yes, they can do their thing, and yes, you can go to the hospital, but we're already on the last receiving end at the hospital in the ER. I'm the last person. And unfortunately, what I do for a living is I help people, but I also see people die. And I think knowledge is so important. You got to think about it. When I receive a patient, it's I already know what I'm supposed to do. I already get into action, right? And another important thing is staying calm, not panicking. Ask anybody on my team. I'm the one to just quietly take care of my patient, quietly give orders. We're getting things done because we're efficient and effective. But at the same time, what I'm saying is you got to be able to handle yourself out there, because by the time I see them, I'm already receiving everything that's happened before they got there, trying to pick up the pieces, trying to get things together. And it's not always possible, especially if time has passed. So if somebody collapses in front of you, maybe it was their heart that stopped. Everyone should know CPR. And it's so simple. Remember, the heart is your pump. It pumps blood. Therefore, it pumps oxygen, because the blood is so rich. It has so many things. It has fat, it has sugar, but it has oxygen. All right? And the reason your heart is pumping oxygen to your brain is so that your brain can function. And then when it's done using up that oxygen, it goes back down into your heart and then passes through your lungs to get that oxygen again. How? Because you're breathing, right? So if somebody's heart stops, you need to pump it for them. Get that oxygen to the brain, because for every moment that there is no oxygen in the brain, their risk of dying goes up. Risk of return with normal function, like you and I, goes up 7 to 10% at least. So lesson for today, and I'll try to put out, like I said, some more content about it, is learn CPR. Teach your family. It is so important. It can happen anywhere and to anyone. It doesn't mean that he had any underlying medical issues, although that's still possible. I know these players go through a lot of screening. I don't know exactly what screenings they go through, but not everything can be tested. And also, it looked like he had impact to his chest. So it's very possible that the impact happened at a specific point of his cardiac cycle and threw him into one of those rhythms that lead to sudden cardiac arrest. That's very possible. And it doesn't mean that there was anything that he did wrong. It doesn't mean that this can happen to anybody. It's quite rare. But there's so many possibilities of what could have went on in the field. And, I'm not putting speculation as to what happened, but I think, these things happen, and it could be a very important teaching point. And I see a few of my coworkers on here. They can all attest to the fact that when we receive the patient, we do everything we can. But what happens out there first is really important. So anyway, I'll put this up on my page so y'all can rewatch it. Thanks for joining me. Good morning, you guys. Let me just scroll up and see if anybody asks any questions. Hey, Movita. Yeah, calm and controlled. Panicking gets you nowhere. You can't panic. And I know you know that. All right, you guys. So I'll see y'all later. I'll put this on my page so y'all can watch it afterward. And look out for more info. Have a great day. And Happy New Year.